Have you thought about house hacking a multifamily around the Boston area, but just don't know where to start? Well, in this video, we're gonna go over choosing criteria for your next house hack. What's up guys, this is Lior with Engel and Volkers, and in this video we're going to be talking about selecting criteria if you're thinking about house hacking a multifamily around the Boston area. Now before we even get anywhere near that, first, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe below. I put out tons of videos about investing, buying, selling, different neighborhood overviews, so this way you'll get notified as soon as I put up a new video, so subscribe below. And then also, if you are even thinking about buying, selling, or investing anywhere near the Boston area, hit me up below. Here's my contact information. We work 24/7, basically 24/7. So I'd be more than happy to help you, whether you're thinking of just selling, buying, investing, or anything like that. So now let's get to today's video, right? House hacking. So a lot of people want to invest in multifamily around the Boston area, right? They want to buy a 2 or 3 family, but because of the prices around here, a 2 or 3 family could easily run you $700,000-800,000, and traditionally to buy an investment property like that, you would need 25% down, which could be as much as $150,000 or $200,000. So what a lot of people have done is they call this thing house hacking, and that's how I bought my first investment property. Is you essentially own or occupy a 2 or 3 or 4 family. Now the advantage of that is, well, instead of putting 25% down, which is a huge chunk of money, right? You can take advantage of owner-occupant loans, which can be as low as 3.5% or 5%. So literally, instead of like 200 grand, you can get into these properties with as little as like 20-25 grand, which is amazing. So let's go over the first major decision factor that you will need if you're going to be thinking about house hacking, which is selecting your criteria. And there's three different factors that go into selecting your criteria, and you'll see that they're kind of a blend of your investor hat, right? But also your owner-occupant hat, right? Because remember, not only are you investing, but you're also going to be living in the building, right? So it's kind of like a little weird combination between investing and buying for yourself. So criteria number 1 is you got to select your market, right? You got to select what kind of cities you want to buy in. So from a purely investor perspective, you basically got to be thinking, am I going to go for a cash flow market, or am I going to go for more of an appreciation market, right? And an appreciation market would obviously in Boston would be something that's pretty close to Boston, right? So core Boston, right? It could be Dorchester, it could be Rosendale, Jamaica Plain. It could be really other cities close by like Somerville, Everett. Those tend to be the more appreciation markets because they're super close. They're right on the transportation. Whereas if you're going to be more of a cash flow guy, you might want to step out 10, 15 miles away from Boston, or gal, I should say. But you might want to step 10 or 15 miles away from Boston where you can get better monthly cash flow numbers. Now, the other component is, again, where do you want to live? Because remember, it's not only where you're investing, but where are you comfortable living, right? So you got to take the other hat and say, well, how close do I want to be to the city? Or how close do I want to be to the transportation? Am I okay going into emerging markets? Or do I want to be in markets where I know there's plenty of bars, restaurants, breweries, etc., right? So you kind of got to merge those two philosophies and find the perfect market for you. Now this leads us to the next criteria, number 2, which is the type of property, right? So you can house hack a 2 family, you can house hack a 3 family, or up to 4 family, right? That's the limit for a residential loan. And again, as an investor perspective, well, it depends what you want, right? Do you want a 2 family, or do you want to try to get something bigger, like a 3 or 4 family, where maybe your numbers would make a little bit more sense? Maybe you'll have a little bit more scale. But remember, now we got to go back to the owner-occupant hat, like, hey, I'm going to be living in this building. Do I want to live in a 3 family and have 2 tenants above me? Or, do I just want 1 person above me, like a 2 family? Because, when you live in a place that you own and you've got tenants above you, it's much easier for them to do things like complain, right? They'll say like, hey, nice, good to see you. By the way, this is wrong, right? They'll always be seeing you because you live with them, right? So again, it's kind of a mix of finding the perfect investment property, but also something that you wouldn't be driven insane to live there and have people above you. And finally, we're going to go to criteria number 3, which is condition, right? Condition of the property. So do you want something that's kind of turnkey, ready to go? Or do you want something that needs work or needs stabilization, right? And again, think about this first from an investment perspective. As an investor, do you buy turnkey? Do you want to buy something that's just turnkey, ready to go, set it and forget it? Or do you want to be a little bit more intensive? Are you okay kind of being a little bit more active, doing some renovations, working through tenants that maybe are paying below market rent and trying to get new ones in there? Is that something you're even comfortable with as an investor? And if the answer is yes, then let's think about the owner-occupant hat, right? Because again, you're gonna be living in the building, right? So are you okay living in a building where you might need to do some work, right? Whether it's major work like foundation, plumbing, or electrical, or whether it's more minor cosmetic stuff, doesn't matter. It still can be annoying one way or the other, right? Living in a project. So the question is, are you okay doing that? And B, not only are you okay living in a project, are you okay kind of, again, stabilizing, dealing with more tenant issues? Because if you're stabilizing a building, usually it's a little bit more of an intensive operation on your end. So for all of these 3 criteria, it's really, really important to put both your investor hat and your owner-occupant hat, because again, it's not only investment property, it's where you're going to be living for at least the next year, right? Because that's what these owner-occupant loans require, is that you live in the property for at least 1 year. So you got to be comfortable there for that first year, because no investment is worth it if you're gonna be just dead miserable for a year, right? That a year's a long time. So again, you got to put both hats on, kind of merge your criteria and find that perfect sweet spot. So we're gonna be doing other videos with other decision factors you're gonna have to go through as you begin your house hacking journey, but this is number 1. So hopefully this makes sense, and let me know if you have any comments or questions below.